Come on. What? Come here. Come on in, everybody. It's time to meditate. Okay. Oops. There we go. I had to turn that off. All right. Now, let me do my share outs. I know this is something I always do, but that's how I make sure people know that I am live. And there are people who want to know that. There we go. Okay. This won't take long. Paste. Oops, I forgot. Hello, little boy. Yes. You gonna let me do this? Thank you. Okay. Let's do that. This won't take long. Please don't leave. Let me get my share outs. There are people who actually want to hear me. And some people who really are trying to help themselves. And because of that, I try to make sure that they find me. Okay, and then I need inbox. And there we go. There's one. There's two. There's three. There's four. And there is five. Then I have one person. And one more person. Oops. There we go. All right, everybody. All done. So how are you? I hope you're doing good tonight. Ooh, that was supposed to go. It's not leaving. Okay, there we go. All right. Tonight we're going to do. I'm going to give some thoughts, and we're going to meditate a little bit as I talk about them. A lot of people have some interesting thoughts about shamans and what we are and what we do, and excuse me, and what we are about. I always find it interesting. Yes, I know. People think that shaman are dealers of spiritual worlds and sometimes healers, and they don't quite know how to look at us. And then on top of it, you hear about you know doing sweat lodges with and vision quests with peyote and all sorts of other things. And I think I'm going to get into that and talk to you guys about it. Anyway, before I do that, go ahead, sit back and relax, or lay down. whatever is more comfortable. Take a couple deep breaths. There you go. As you can see, I'm actually leaned up against something behind me. You can do the same. Relax. This is not about strengthening your core, and no, this is about you relaxing before you go to bed so that you can clear your mind and actually rest. It's a very important thing. Okay. Take a couple breaths. And as you breathe, allow yourself to put lines down into the earth. Or roots, whatever you're more comfortable with. You can be 20, 100 floors up, and you can still put lines down into the earth. Just put your lines down into the earth, 6, 10, 20 feet into the earth. And let yourself let go of the day's busyness and yesterday's busyness. All that stuff that just makes you feel like you have to keep moving. Let that go down into the earth. While that's going on, I'm going to talk a little bit about what are the misconceptions. And it's even amongst other shamans. I've had an interesting time with it. Traditions in some tribes, in fact, a lot of them go anywhere from mushrooms to peyote to some form of hallucinogenic. It's part of the tradition as a shaman that you use that to get visions. From the very beginning, I was against that, or have been against it. I've been offered peyote, mushrooms, things of that nature, and I didn't need. I turned it down. I told them I did not need that to get my visions, to see out, to get out of body, to feel what I need to feel. And I actually caused a little bit of turmoil amongst several shamanic individuals. And it came down to one, what the hallucinogenics long-term effects were, physically and mentally, but also how genuine were the visions and how correct they were. I always found it interesting, the people that I knew who listened to these shamans who used the hallucinogenics to be able to look at things and to predict things. Always sat there and went, yeah, well, they're right. It's just sometimes things change. And I said, I know that. But here's the real question is, how often is it are they misperceiving because of the hallucinogenics in and of themselves? And how looking into forward thought gets screwed up, and how much are they out of reality even when they're not on the hallucinogenics? It was some interesting conversations. That was while I was going through classes and learning. And when I ended up being done with classes and actually being called a shaman, I kind of put those thoughts to task, and a lot of other shamanic beings sought out my advice, who were supposedly very, very heads up, very on top of things, and capable of truly seeing things themselves. They were actually looking to me for help because they their thoughts were very spotty. Their visions were very spotty, and they couldn't put them together. And I found that interesting. Shamans are many things to many people. We're basically truly we're adapters. We adapt to our situation in our time. What is needed is what we try to work with and become. If a tribe needed someone to forecast the weather so that the crops were good, then that's what the shaman did. If the tribe needed a healer, that's what the shaman did. The shaman was one to be a part of the tribe that were in, making sure that the tribe had what it needed, but never controlling the tribe. Just making sure that the tribe had what it needed to move forward. Whether or not it did was up to the tribe. Let go of all that busyness. That's the reason I come online and do meditations. There's a need. People need to be able to rest, to sleep. Too often, too many things are going on in our lives. It can be overwhelming. It can just completely overwhelm the senses. You're being told to feel and this way and do this and think this way. And even if you don't, it's still being pushed upon you. And when you get pushed upon, at some point, it invades your sleep. And then you know that there are things out there that shouldn't be happening. I just had a conversation with my wife. People sit there and go, what's wrong with marijuana? It's not like it's does any harm. I look at it as I do with the hallucinogenics with shamans. You become dependent on it for certain things. A lot of people who use marijuana quite a bit usually have problems with their emotions. If you're a very angry person, it will make you apathetic. People actually think you're zen. You're calm and all-seeing. But what it actually does is just make you apathetic. You don't care to actually be a part of life and deal with your true emotions. If you don't deal with your emotions, then are you really living? A lot of people try to avoid. As kids, When we hit puberty, all those neat little emotions that come forward, rushing through because of hormones. A lot of people don't like dealing with those emotions. And you deal with them all through life. They don't stop. But people will actually use things like marijuana to avoid dealing with themselves. Self-medicating. People use that type of thing, and I realize that a lot of people will sit there and go, well, I just use it to mellow out once a week. Well, that's just it. What reason can't you mellow out on your own? That's my thought. If you can't mellow out on your own, then maybe you need to figure that out. That's where I ask people to come here and meditate. Let go of that busyness. Let go of all those people that are pushing at you and trying to tell you who and what you are. Let go down into the earth. There's a lot of things. A lot of people in the government want you to do things like drink and use pot. It's not about even trying to get you to die earlier, although I have my own suspicions on that one. It's so that you will become addicted and apathetic. You'll become reliant and therefore controllable. If someone is addicted to pot or uses it habitually, at that point, they're apathetic and they're dependent. They're controllable. And when you're apathetic, you don't care how you live. You don't care if your car breaks down. You don't care how your apartment looks. You don't care how you look. As long as you're high. Being a part of life can be very hard. Let go of that. Just let it go down into the earth. I find that as long as I can sleep, I can deal with whatever's put at me the next day. It's not about getting high. It's about quieting your mind on your own. Being able to have your own discipline within yourself. Letting go of all the busy talk, the busy energy, the manipulation. Letting it go. Because it doesn't matter. In the end, it doesn't matter. It's just a moment. Let it go. Let it go down into the earth. I've seen many things. I've been a shaman since I was about 31, 32. It's kind of a different way of looking at things. Because when you look at things, you see things for what they are, not for what they want you to see them as, or what you want to see them as. but what they really are. And when you see them for when you see things for what they really are, for better or worse, it can't be unseen. I see a lot of good in people, and I see a lot of ugly. And the ugly usually comes from others sabotaging others, to where people sabotage themselves because that's all they know. Let that go down into the earth. Take a breath. There's many things on this earth, many people, many beings. Many are confused, hurt. They don't even know what they know. They don't even know what to ask. They don't even know that they have questions. They just are. Those people hurt. And when people hurt, they hurt others. Not because they have to. Hello, Patrick. But because they just do. When we're born into this life, most of us are actually happy. And I say that we're happy, we're loving, and we're caring because we went through a very humbling experience. We're born into pain, being pushed out through an orifice that is very small, going from a place that's very comfortable to a place that's very uncomfortable, and completely reliant on someone else caring for us. And that's very humbling. So we appreciate it. But that appreciation goes away over time as we believe we are in control of ourselves. And the more that you try to control, the more you don't appreciate. I think that a lot of people think I'm silly. My wife, she says if she's having a bad day, all she has to do is ask me to pull up my Facebook. I follow a lot of kitten pages. Neonates. Neo-kittens. Neonate kittens. Babies that their mothers left them behind. Not because the mothers didn't want to. It's mothers realize it's pure numbers. If they don't have the food, they can't feed them. They abandon them, and that's all they can do. And people find them, and they bottle feed them. And the look and the appreciation, those little babies who can't even see or hear yet, the minute, it doesn't matter who picks them up and starts giving them food, they start doing this. And they purr so loud. And they cuddle up, and all they want is the simplest and the most basic warmth and a heartbeat. Put them up against your chest, and they will go to sleep content, purring. Children are like that. Babies are like that. It used to bother my second ex-wife to no end. She couldn't get our kids to calm down, go to sleep in her arms. I could have kids out within 2 or 3 minutes just by putting them in my arms and making sure that they could hear my heart. Think about that. We all were that. Let go of that busy talk. Let go of that manipulation. Think about what you were back then. And I'm not saying that as we grew up, things didn't change us. But we have the ability to become that again. To want the simple things. The simplest, the most basic, make us happy. That is the most precious of all things. Like I said, I watch the neonate kittens for a reason. When those kittens are raised and they're truly given warmth and they feel cared about, they end up growing up to be the most loving little mischievous things. That is a true beginning in life. And that's what you start learning as you strip away all the lies in this world. What really matters. Every day I look for happiness. I try to look through a kitten's eyes. I have a little boy that you guys see on my shoulder here on occasion. He's very intelligent, but he is also still very kittenish. Every day he finds something new. Or he looks at something through new eyes. It's different for him. And I try to do that. I'm a universal shaman. I try to help unfold the truth that this universe holds. And I have to do it through a baby's eyes. Remind yourself of that. Remind yourself what it is you can be. Simple. Let go of the complication that over the last couple days that others have convinced you need to be a part of. Let it go down into earth. You deserve that peace and quiet. When my little boy loves, he loves with complete abandonment and passion. When he plays, he plays with complete fury and enthrallment and enthusiasm. And when he sleeps with peace and love and warmth, as we all should. Let go of any remaining busyness, anxieties, people telling you what they think you need to be. Let go of those complications. Just let them go. Let any remaining go down into the earth. And when all that has gone down into the earth, take a deep breath and let it out. And as you let it out, bring your line back up into you or your roots. You are okay now. Don't be apathetic in life. See your life for what it is. My life is just fine. Nothing horrible. Nothing grandeur. It is a good life. And I have made sure to bring it to that level. You can too. My life is simple. I don't look around and see horrible things, but simple things. Don't be apathetic and just say, well, it is what it is. There's not a darn thing I can do about it. Don't be apathetic. Because all that is you giving up on you. Don't give in to everybody else. Think things through and be who you are. It's the best thing you can do. I tell people, even if I were to die tomorrow, I will have died knowing I lived my life exactly as I wanted to live it, with what I was given. It's not perfect, but it is simple. And that's what I wanted. And no, I'm not dying tomorrow, that I know of anyway. Let yourself smile. Let yourself feel warmth. And let yourself feel love. Go to sleep with warmth in your heart. Be a kitten. All right, everybody. If you liked what you heard tonight, please like, share, or subscribe. I would appreciate it. If you know of anybody who could use some positive meditations, please share it out to them. And I will be on Facebook Saturday night with a meditation. Please come join. Thank you, everybody. Remember to keep it simple. Because anything else keeps you from enjoying what is really there. All right. I love every one of you. Get some rest. And I will see you Saturday night. Good night. And thank you for coming.